So you went from, how am I going to get over them? I can't stop thinking about them, to, okay, I'm starting to feel like myself again. And you've been doing the work and healing, and maybe you watched some of my videos, so you've been able to calm those obsessive thoughts. Also regulate your nervous system and rewire your brain. So now you're ready to attract a healthy relationship. But now you might be thinking, am I really ready to attract a healthy relationship? Can I actually have the love that I've always wanted? Well, let me tell you, as a coach and therapist that uses neuroscience and psychology to help you heal from narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships, the answer is yes. Yes, my love, you can absolutely have the healthy, loving, supportive, secure, safe relationship that you've always wanted. And you're probably finding this video because you're ready for it. So in this video you're about to watch, which is from one of my live streams, I'm walking you through the process of how to attract and have a truly healthy relationship. And if after watching this video, you're ready to go even deeper, my course on healing and thriving, because we want to thrive, healing and thriving after narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships is available right now for you to download. The link is in the description and also in my bio. Okay, let's dive in and let me know in the comments which technique or mindset shift you're going to start implementing right away. Let's go. I'm going to talk again about how to attract healthy relationships. I did a video about the wizard Liz and why she even attracted a relationship like that. And then I did a video about how to stop the obsessive thoughts and stop obsessing about someone, especially someone that you know is not good for you and that you know you want out of your life, and that sometimes you know that they have a toxic personality, like they have narcissistic personality disorder or something like that, and your nervous system has gotten literally addicted to them. So I'm going to talk more about that, but if you want to watch those entire videos, go ahead and look them up on my YouTube, which is the same handle, Mental Health Hacker, and you'll see. But I'm going to go over some of the things right now. So we're going to go over how the obsessive thoughts happen, how to stop them, and then we're going to talk about how to attract healthy relationships, because that's ultimately what we want, is to be in a healthy relationship with ourselves and with like a romantic partner, with friends, family, co-workers. It's all related. So if you get in the right energy, you can have that in every area of your life, and especially work. I feel like people overlook that, but work is where you spend a lot of your time. So if we have healthy relationships at work, and even if you work for yourself, by the way, you still want to attract the right clients, the right opportunities. Like it's always talked about, our emotional baggage or anything that we don't have resolved, we will carry into our work, into our friendships, and definitely into our romantic relationships. So to go over what I was talking about in terms of getting over these obsessive thoughts, it's like they're controlling my mind, I can't get over it. Like my clients come to me and they're like, I literally have an addiction. I feel like I'm addicted to this person. And they're like, I know that sounds crazy. And I'm like, it's not, because really your nervous system, like on a biochemical level, you are addicted to them. Let's get you out of that. And so the first thing to do is to, the nervous system regulation, there's a lot to it, but just starting on a biochemical level, it is good to practice deep breathing, because breathing, it's like you can go a long time without food, pretty long time without water, but you cannot go that long without breathing. And it's directly correlated to how, like, your nervous, when you're breathing in a shallow way, your body thinks like there's a danger and thinks that there's something wrong. You're in fight mode. And when you get obsessed with people and you're in these toxic relationships, you're unconsciously not breathing well. So the first thing is to breathe deeply, and then to tell yourself, every time I exhale, I'm exhaling away this relationship. I'm getting it out of my body. I'm getting it out of my nervous system, getting it out of my mind. Just telling yourself that helps so much. It sounds so simple, but it works. I give my clients this. I mean, when they're in like crisis mode, I'm like, start with that. Just trust me. I know you haven't heard it before, but start with that. Every exhale I take, I am exhaling away the toxic past, this relationship, I'm leaving it alone. Every exhale I take, this person is moving away from me. Every inhale I take, I'm inhaling a new healthy relationship. And that's so important to do, because we breathe all the time. So that is my number one thing. Please always start with that, especially if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like thinking about them and you feel like you can't get them out of your mind and you feel kind of powerless. This is a great one to do. Every exhale I take, I'm calm. Every exhale I take, this toxic pattern is getting out of my life. Every exhale I take, I am removing any narcissistic pattern, like attracting narcissists out of my life. And every inhale, I'm inhaling nice, healthy relationships that are supportive, where I feel loved and taken care of. Whatever you want, you're going to inhale that and exhale everything else. The second thing to do, and I know sometimes people either love this or hate this, but it is to journal. So sometimes this is called like shadow work, whatever you want to call it, but you have to look at yourself. In the video where I talk about the wizard Liz and how she attracted this very toxic relationship and got convinced to, have this narcissist, like this, I think Landon is very narcissistic and has borderline tendencies, even though she's this relationship guru type of thing. And she's supposed to, she comes off like she knows everything. And then she ended up in this toxic relationship and now she's 6 months pregnant or whatever it is. This happens when we are not willing to look at ourselves or we have blind spots. And we always have to be looking at ourselves. Even the work I do, I help a lot of people very successfully get over toxic relationships, live their best life, but I'm always working on myself. It never ends, right? It's not like, okay, I'm in shape now, so I'm gonna stop going to the gym and being healthy. No, you're always working on it. You're always getting better. And it's the same with your psychological health. So you wanna always be looking at yourself. So journaling is an excellent way to do this. Even if you're not a big writer, writing helps you connect certain parts of your brain get connected, and certain neural pathways can connect faster when you write, especially by hand. That's why it's suggested, and that's why it works so well. If you're not a big writer, type it on your iPad, type it on the laptop, or even speak it out loud. Sometimes I have my clients just talk to me via like an audio text, whatever you need to do, but you need to get it out of your nervous system. And if you don't, it will show up as some kind of dis-ease or discomfort in your body. I always remind people that your brain is here, right? But your brain does not end in your skull. Your nervous system goes all the way down throughout, like your brainstem goes all the way down throughout your spine and throughout your body, right? That's why we get chills. That's why we have a feeling in our stomach. That's why we have all these things that happen to us throughout our body, but we don't want an emotion to get stuck. And it can, and it's actually just your brain trying to protect you, because if your brain was holding all of this unprocessed stuff, you wouldn't be able to function. So it will get trapped in parts of your body. Sometimes that's why we get sick or we get a heartache or our stomach hurts. But if we're able to process these things in a healthy way, we can move them out of our body through journaling, through breathing, through talking to someone, and also through creative outlets if you have a creative outlet too, but also directly understanding what is going on. And then just asking yourself, okay, for instance, I just did a video about getting triggered. Your triggers are your teachers. They're teaching you something that's unhealed or that needs attention. So it's like, okay, I'm getting triggered by this. I'm really still obsessing about this person. What is the unmet need? So what is the unmet need that I have? Do I need to feel comforted? Do I need to feel safe? Do I need to feel loved? What is it? Look at it instead of just getting triggered. Because if we just get triggered all the time, we're going to continue to live in a state of fear, anxiety, anger. But if you could look at it and be like, okay, well, I feel lonely. I feel unloved. I feel unsupported. There's the unmet need. Then from there, the next level is, how can I provide that need for myself? And I promise you always can. People argue with me about this one. They're like, well, if I'm lonely, I need someone else. I'm telling you, if you can sit with yourself, that's why on this live, I have the book called Stillness is Key. I love all of his books. They're all wonderful books. Buy them all. But if you're able to sit with yourself, you can regulate your nervous system, and that need, that desire, that chasing energy, which often repels people, but that chasing energy will subside and will completely go away. So you don't have this intense longing. And you'll notice that when people get to the core of let's go on loneliness because we're talking about that it's from some childhood wounding, some childhood messaging, some trauma from the past. It could be from childhood or it could be even more recent, right? But once you get to what the unmet need is and how to provide that for yourself, that will help you so much to not get triggered and to stop the obsessive thoughts about someone else and the obsessive need to want to control something, need to want to constantly be with someone. All of those things, I promise you, will subside. And it's one of those things that is actually pretty easy once you start doing it, but it's difficult at first. And I just made the video the other day. It's like, yes, I'm like lying in bed talking about it and it's just that protocol. If you can do that protocol, your brain will switch. When it gets triggered, your brain will switch and know to do those things. Okay, what am I triggered about? What's the unmet need? How can I provide it for myself? And then like add in a good mantra in there and just be like, I'm loved, I'm safe, I'm protected, anything that you want. You learn things not by, just learning them once. It's by repetition. We have things integrated into our system through repetition. So continue to do those things as much as you need to. And then if you want like the full video that I did on obsessive thoughts, just go to my YouTube channel and I do a whole thing about how to regulate with the obsessive thoughts, but that is where you need to start. And then one more thing I will say about it, but I'm also going to say it when I'm talking about how to attract a healthy relationship, you must pour into yourself. All that obsessive energy that you gave the other person, or that a lot of times we abandon ourselves if it's not a healthy relationship, or we're learning how to have healthier, more balanced relationships, we completely abandon ourselves and give all of this obsessive energy to this other person. It's like, can you show up for yourself like that? Everything in your life starts to go amazing when you can show up for yourself, when you can make yourself the main character. That's why, all this like main character energy stuff, it's actually really important. When you can show up and make yourself the main character of your life, and you're the director and the main character, things get a lot better. And then if you're not, you're siphoning your energy, you're giving it away, and it doesn't work that well. So those things are very important. And then moving into how to attract healthy relationships. So the first thing that you need to do is, like I was talking about, be courageous enough to look at yourself. Just like do an overview, kind of like you're a forensic, looking at something in the most subjective way, in the most loving way, because we like beat up on ourselves after we get out of these relationships. Do not beat up on yourself. Give yourself a hug, even if it's just in your imagination. And I want you to be like, okay, when I got in this relationship, what were the red flags I started to ignore? What were the things I started to make excuses for, or like maybe not tell my friends about? And then what was the maybe unmet need or insecurity that I had that I thought this relationship could provide? Was it how it looked to everyone else? Was it safety? Was it security? What was that unmet need? A lot of times, like people are like some of my clients will be like, I can't be alone, and I want someone in bed with me, and I can't and I just feel inadequate if someone's not. So like whatever it is, it's all normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It takes a little bit of courage to do that, but if you can look at that, it will be so profound. It will lead to so much healing, and you won't repeat the same mistakes. That is what I want for you more than anything. I don't want you to repeat the same mistakes. It's okay to make new mistakes and learn new lessons. That's why we're here, When I talk to people, I'm always like, okay, well, what did you learn about yourself from that relationship? What did you learn about what you want, need, and deserve from that relationship? How have your standards shift from that relationship? So we want to learn. And it's very good to take time. Going back to stillness is key, because when we take time to reset our nervous system and just be by ourselves a little bit and understand ourselves better, if you jump right into something else, you're going to keep a lot of those malignant patterns going. You're never going to look at them. You're never going to solve them. And then you're going to make the same mistakes. And a lot of narcissistic people think it's everyone else's fault and I just haven't No, it's you, boo. It's you, and that's okay. And we all have our thing. We have an opportunity for growth. We all have opportunities for growth, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. And in fact, we always want to be better and better, so it's all good. So looking at what was going on in that relationship, what you chose to ignore, why, and what you could be better at. And then also from here, so the next thing I have my clients do is okay, what are your new standards? And really take time and decide, what are your new standards? So how are you treated? How does it look when you're in a relationship? What does that look? And I'm get nitty gritty. So when you get home from work, on the weekends, when you have your kids, whatever your situation is, what does it look like? What do you expect? What do you want, need, and deserve? What is that? Really look at that and really own that, and not be afraid to, especially If you maybe were coming from a narcissistic relationship or a relationship with a narcissist, you probably had to compromise a lot of things. And you were probably told that you know what you want is stupid, or trying to get, like, they were trying to train you to put your needs on the back burner. So this is the time I really want you to own your standards. Write it down. This is what I want, need, and deserve in a relationship. And sometimes it could be like, I want to be able to sleep through the night. I have people that they're like, he won't let me sleep through the night, which is, actually a form of trying to control someone. So like all of it. And I hope that includes you being treated like a queen or a king, whatever it is. Like, you deserve to be treated exactly how you want to. And so of course we have to compromise on things, but in terms of how you're treated and what you want, need, and deserve, that's important. And I also have my clients put their standards in their phone. Why? Because you always have your phone with you. And before you go scrolling, you could look at them again. So subconsciously, you're training your brain to always look at these standards over and over again. And you could say, I, your name. So if it was me, like, I, Lauren. So, and these are my standards. This is how I show up in a relationship. This is how I'm treated in a relationship. And you could get, like, if you're familiar with Neville Goddard or any type of manifesting, you could just put it in the present tense, because that trains your brain. Your brain doesn't know the difference between like what's going on right now and what you tell it, especially the parts of the limbic system and the subconscious mind. So if you say, I am treated, like when you look at your list of standards, it's so wonderful and so nice that I am treated so well by my partner, and we do these things, and we do these things on the weekend, and we go to dinner, and like whatever it is, I get flowers, and my clients read it to me. So everyone has like a different thing, but it's so wonderful. I feel so safe. And that is an important part of the standards. How do you feel? It's great to go out to dinner. It's great to be romanced and all those things, but do you feel safe? We've been in relationships where ostensibly it looks wonderful, but we don't feel safe. So do you feel safe? Do you feel grounded? Do you feel loved? Do you feel supported? All of those things, I want you to write them down. I want you to feel them and write like the feelings that you have in the present moment. Those are your standards. You're going by your standards. And then the next part, just within the standards, is I need you to believe it. So you're going to write it down. And that's why another reason that it's great to write it in the present moment, as if it's happening right now. Even if you got out of the shittiest thing, don't jump into something new. Don't jump into something new. But write down your standards, write it in the present moment, write how great you feel about it and how great you're treated and all of those things. And I need you to believe it, even if it's just a little bit, just start to feel it. Because what you believe and what you feel is like happening in the present moment, where you're telling your mind and nervous system, you will eventually create in your life. This is just science and neuroscience. It happens. From there, I need you to start to actually truly believe it. Oh, the other thing is to have an accountability buddy. And this could be someone that actually cares about you, like actually cares about your growth, and just be like, hey, I need to make sure when you start dating again, or maybe this is for like, you've been in a bunch of abusive jobs. So the next job I have, I need to not ignore the red flags. Like, I'm not going to come with desperate energy. Like, okay, I need to just be in this relationship and settle. And this is the best of it. No, we're coming with, what are our standards? What do we want? And so when you go on dates, you can check in with your accountability buddy, and if you have a therapist, a group, like any type of support system is what I should say, that is going to hold you accountable. So you have a support system that's holding you accountable. Read the list to them and be like, hey, I just need to be able to check in with someone. Anyone. You know what? If it's ChatGPT, I don't care who it is. It could be me. You could, like, whatever it is, I want you to hold yourself to those standards and make sure, even if it's like, oh, okay, well, I kind of, didn't hold up to my standards. It's okay that you call yourself out on it. People that love and support you won't care. They'd rather you be honest about it. So have the standards, believe in it, and then hold yourself accountable to those standards. And you deserve that. I know you would do that for a friend. If a friend was like, okay, hey, like, I've had this situation in the past and I don't want to do that anymore. Can you make sure, like, as I start dating again, that I don't do that again, and that I only hang out with people that are this way, treat me this way, whatever it is. You would do that for a friend. So you get to do that for yourself and show up for yourself that way, and then ask for support in that way. The next step is forgiveness. Now, I'm not talking about the classic forgiveness, like, oh, I forgive you. because it's the right thing to do. Okay, yes, it's the right thing to do. But what I mean by forgiveness is letting the past go. We have a decision every moment in our lives to activate the past and bring the past into the present moment, or let it go. It's in the past. Even if it's something that's like good, it's like, okay, we can be nostalgic for a little bit, but we have to live, we're anchored in the present moment. All we have right now is the present moment. So if there's something from the past that you don't like, that's why I gave those steps earlier. You have to know that the past is in the past and remind yourself of that. That's why I gave you that breathing exercise. I'm letting go. I'm releasing that. It's no longer with me. I'm exhaling it out of my nervous system. The past is the past. My favorite definition of forgiveness is that every moment is a new moment. Every moment you're reborn, every moment there's a fresh opportunity, because we're always in the present moment. So we can forgive and release the past. We can thank the past for helping us be a better version of ourselves, and then we can let it go. So we're constantly releasing the past, especially when it has to do with a narcissistic person, a toxic relationship. Can we release that? Can we let it go? And reminding yourself that is the best thing to do, because you only have the present moment, right? So if we hold on to the past, that can turn into depression. And if we are constantly clinging to the future, which also doesn't exist, that'll turn into anxiety. So we want to be anchored in the present moment, enjoying and loving and being so grateful for the present moment. That is so healing. It's another thing that sounds simple, but it's really difficult to do. How often does your mind go to the past or present, or past or future? If we can stay in the present moment and forgive the past and release it, I promise you, it will get better. It will constantly get better. You'll rewire your brain to start living that way. So it'll be, when you're completely anchored in the present moment, it's very peaceful. And then you just have to make the decision, right? Like you have to make that decision that that doesn't affect you anymore. And then the final phase of this is self-concept work, which is my favorite thing. So you have your standards. That's kind of like the baseline thing that we started with. And then from there, the self-concept work is like, who am I now? So you're going to step into that. And in psychology, it's called the ideal self. So it's like how on every level, who you are, or who you'd ideally like to be physically, emotionally, financially, career-wise, all of it. I want you to embody that now. I don't care if you are the farthest thing from it. I want you to embody it now. I want you to feel it. I want you to think about what it looks like obsessively. I want you to just be so grateful for it. I want you to like think about, okay, so I'm living this life, and whatever, it's Friday, it's the weekend, and I do this with my partner and we have a very healthy relationship, and my partner supports me in this way with my career and my whatever family, whatever it is. I want you to completely marinate, obsessively think about this new ideal self, this self-concept of you, whatever it is you want. You fix your mind on anything, you will attract that into your life. You will become that. So why not constantly obsess about the version of yourself that you want to be and feeling it as if you already have it? Not thinking about yourself, the version of yourself that you want to be from a place of like lack, where it's just like, I'm not there yet. And no, not that. We're going to shut those thoughts off, and then we're going to drop into this ideal version of ourselves as if we already are doing that. Commit to that. Promise me you'll do that just for this weekend. Just why not? Like, just have, like, what do you have to lose? How about you try that just for this weekend and let me know how it goes? Just see what happens. And if you need help with that, you can just go to my page. I have a ton of videos on that about how to rewire your brain to attract what you want by like becoming and feeling into what you want. And then, so like I was saying, Tony, like last time I went live, was asking me about Stoicism. And I'm like, that's a wonderful thing to talk about. Yes, because Stoicism relates to, and I took some notes on it, Stoicism relates so directly to psychology and becoming the ideal version of yourself and attracting a healthy relationship. And I pinned Ryan Holiday's book to one of his books because I love his work, and it's just so succinct in terms of how to shift your mindset. And he uses, I mean, he's talking about Stoicism and everything. But it relates so much to psychology about how to do that through that perspective, through Stillness is Key and The Obstacle is the Way. Those books are wonderful. And so some of the like philosophies that like Stoicism uses and how it's related to psychology and getting this ideal relationship that you want is that like nothing is blocking you, everything is for you. So that terrible relationship, just like I was talking about, it was there to teach you something. It's a gift. It's there to help you. So yes, we might have some negative feelings about it. Yes, you might feel like victimized a little bit. So process that, get it out, exhale it out, but then go back to empowering yourself and being the main character in your life and being like, okay, I am going to show up like the main, like just that part of the movie where it's like, okay, they're down in the dumps. And then like that part of the hero's journey where like, okay, you know what? Fuck this. I'm stepping into my power. That was my rock bottom moment. Here we go. What did I learn from this? How am I going to pick myself up? How am I going to turn things around? How am I going to make this that seems like the worst thing that happened to me, the best thing that happened to me to attract exactly what I want in my life? And so it's in psychology, it's called cognitive appraisal, where it's kind of like the definition of cognitive appraisal is seeing a situation through a different perspective. And that is a choice. Every perspective that you have is a choice. And we have our default perspectives, which could be pessimism, hate, I don't know. But like, can you shift your default perspective to one of everything is for me? And that relationship that just ended, or that bad, like that maybe had made me feel a certain way or closed my heart a little bit, maybe that was to open it up even more to the right person, to the person that deserves it. Right? Because you have your standards list that we talked about earlier now. So now you know. So it's all working out in your favor. So you don't have to like have your heart constricted. You don't have to try to control things. You don't have to keep people at a distance. And then I'm going to share some quotes from the book I have pinned from Stillness is Key, because it's just such a wonderful book and it will help you. I'm constantly recommending books, but this one is wonderful for helping you really get that relationship that you want, which starts with the relationship with yourself. That's why all of these things that I've given you so far, if you've noticed, they are about you and focusing on you and making yourself the highest and best version of you. Because it's like when you do that, then you radiate out, just like people that are confident, that are really confident, not arrogant. You're drawn to them, right? Because it's such a high vibrational energy. So when you come up from a place of grounded certainty of like, okay, I've healed, I've learned, and I've up-leveled from these past experiences, then you can draw in a higher energy and something that you actually want. So let's see, you can't let your emotions drive your actions, right? So our emotions are there to teach us stuff. They're a guidance system. We can use them to manifest. We can, like I was saying before, when you have your self-concept, when you're doing your self-concept work, you want to feel into that because that creates your life, but you are in control of your emotions. So you're using your emotions, kind of like Joe Dispenza talks about. You use your emotions to create the life but you're not ruled by your emotions. You are not a slave to your emotions. You use your emotions to strategically create the life that you want. Do you see the difference? Because a lot of times when we're like, oh my God, I'm in love, you're in lust, your nervous system is having and I always say, give it 4 weeks, because your nervous, a lot of times we're just reacting to someone else's energy. So if you give it, so give it 4 weeks, but we don't ever let our emotions rule us. We rule our emotions, and our life is a lot better when we do that. And you do that by, okay, like I was saying before, whatever you want, you feel into that as if you already have it. And if you have a feeling about anything, you notice the feeling, but you're not a slave to it. You could be, okay, even if you're really drawn to someone, great. Okay, especially if it's someone you just met, that's awesome. That is amazing that's fun, right? So, but also, take time to ask yourself, why am I drawn to this person? Is it for the right reasons? Is it an unmet need, or is it because I actually feel good? Is this person positively contributing to my life? These are important questions to ask. So we are in control of our emotions. We rule our emotions. We are not slaves to them. Ego wants you to be superior. Stillness wants you to be present, right? So when we're operating from a place of scarcity, we aren't thinking, sometimes we're in our emotions too much, and we're not present. We're anchored in the past. We're operating from past wounding. or we're thinking about the future too much and it's creating anxiety, it's creating a lot of chaos. So, but when we're present and anchored in the moment, that's where the good stuff happens. Love is not a feeling, it's a constant choice. I love this one because it talks about love, like, again, not being a slave to your emotions, but it's also about like having like consistently showing up for yourself, which is beautiful. And that it's more than a fleeting emotion. A lot of times when I'm helping people with their toxic relationships, it's like they got addicted and, to that initial thing that the narcissist might have created. I call narcissists and these toxic people, borderline people, drug dealers, because it's like they study you, they learn what'll get you hooked, and then they make that drug. They basically become the drug. And then you're having these intense things and you have all these dopamine hits. You're having, what feels like oxytocin, and some of it could be actual oxytocin, but like, and then when that goes away, you're left with, okay, well, was that love? And love is consistent. Love is like loving is like when you constantly show up for yourself, it's a consistent energy. It's stable, it's secure, it's peaceful. So that's where you are when there's actual love. Don't let your reflection in someone else's mirror determine your self-worth. I love this one. Again, this is from Stillness is Key, because we need this in relationships. And it's so difficult because you love someone, but their opinion it's not like a do or die type of thing. It's not the end of, I don't want to say it's not the end of the world, but sometimes when a relationship doesn't come from a place of secure attachment, when it's from an anxious attachment or there's an avoidant anxious attachment energy going on, one person is so preoccupied with the other person's opinion. And so there's this weird power, it's not weird, it's a malignant, a toxic pattern, a toxic power dynamic that is happening. But when you're in a secure attachment, both people can know that they're loved and that they can express maybe like, hey, that disappointed me. Hey, can we do this? And it's not like, oh my God, my world is shattered, my self-worth is shattered because you think this of me. You see the difference? Where it's kind of like, I love you and I want to talk about this. And I talk about this a lot, that healthy conflict resolution is so important and is something that people are so fucking afraid to do. You need healthy conflict resolution, and also not a lot of people know how to do it. And it's so much easier to do when there's a sense of secure attachment, when you're anchored in secure attachment, when both people feel loved with each other, feel loved with themselves, feel love for themselves, feel love for each other, and there's a secure, peaceful attachment where it's not like, if I bring something up, I'm afraid that person's going to abandon me. If that isn't there, then you can really have healthy conflict resolution. If you bring up something that makes you uncomfortable or that you'd like to work on, and the other person gets offended, or they're like, no, that's not what I meant. It's like, obviously that's not what you meant. You're coming from the perspective of thinking or knowing, in a real healthy relationship, this person doesn't have any bad intentions. This person isn't trying to hurt me, but their impact versus their intentions are off. So their intentions weren't to upset me, whatever, but their impact really did. And the scale of this can go big. It could be like, you're gum chewing. I know you're not maybe trying to annoy me, but I'm fucking getting homicidal over it. Or something like, when you're late, when you don't text me, I feel abandoned, or I feel like certain things come up. So the spectrum of what you should be able to discuss with your partner in a securely attached relationship should be like that, without another person getting offended or volatile, or you feeling like they're going to flee or attack, right? So they're not going to have any of the fear things when you bring up something. So they're not going to fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, right? During healthy conflict resolution. So, and that is something to look for, especially in the early stages of dating. Like, is this person capable of healthy conflict resolution? Or do they sweep under the rug? Or do they get offensive and everything just goes their way? And being honest with that, even if you're so charmed by them, because that is how we get into toxic dynamics a lot. Like when I talk to my clients, it is very much, I want to say like 95%, if not more. It's the fact that, okay, I got swept up in this thing and we just can't have healthy conflict resolution. They shut down, they start fighting with me, or they start fawning, Or maybe you start fawning. Like if you know that someone, like maybe you were dating someone that had a temper and it's like, oh, okay, you get into this. I've been there. When I was, in my phase of dating narcissists and healing the narcissistic wounding I had, which is why I'm so passionate about this. I came from narcissistic wounding, then I dated that, like people that were narcissists, then I did the work to heal from that. And one of the things I would do personally is like when I could see them getting upset, I would either freeze or fawn because there was no healthy conflict resolution. And then I learned like, hey, that doesn't serve me. And when I did my standards, it's like, I want to be able to talk to someone about what's going on. And when you have healthy conflict resolution, it's an act of both people showing up and being vulnerable and having like a healthy container to do so. It's so important to have that healthy container within your relationship. And there's a book, I can't think of it right now, the author calls it the couple bubble. Like you're in your little couple bubble where you can talk about things that are not part of the outside world, that are just in your world. And that's your safe space where you can talk about anything. So you deserve to have that in your relationship. And also with yourself. That's why I was saying like that inner work that we talked about in the beginning. Please let me know if you have any questions. Just to wrap it up or like create a synopsis. When you make the decision to like, hey, I had all this happen in the past. My past isn't a reflection of me. It's just an understanding what has happened so far. And it's only there to make me better, make me the highest and best version of myself. And this is who I'm going to be moving forward. This is who I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to show up in the world. This is my new self-concept, and I am stepping into it full force. When you make that decision, and you really make that decision, nothing can get in the way. Neville Goddard's quote, when you make a decision that you're going to have something, anything that you want to be, do, or have, when you actually are like, I'm claiming this for me right now. I'm main character energy. I'm the director and the main character of my freaking life. When you really do that, there's no power that can get in the way. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop it. And it's only our doubt and thoughts and getting those out of the way. Again, with the breathing exercise that I started with, we're exhaling away basically anything that doesn't serve us. And every time you exhale, you have to breathe a lot during the day. You might as well use your breath in a productive way and train your brain. Like every time I exhale, I am exhaling away the past things that didn't serve me, the past patterns that didn't serve me. You can do this about a habit that you don't like. I've had super fast success with clients that are just doing this to get rid of a habit. Like, okay, I no longer do this. I'm exhaling that away. And I always say just like what doesn't serve me. So you're not giving energy, like let's say it's smoking, you're not giving energy to that. And then I'm inhaling the fact that I have a healthy lifestyle, whatever it is, whatever habit you're trying to get rid of. But in this case with relationships, you're just, every inhale you take, it's like, I only attract people that treat me however you want to be treated. I only attract healthy, peaceful, grounded relationships into my life. Anything like that. And then the self-concept work. And then, being in a healthy relationship is always showing up for yourself. If you show up for yourself, that energy will be matched. It's proven in science, like attracts like. So whatever energy you were putting out about yourself will be matched. Remember that. So you might as well think good thoughts about yourself. Again, if you had a friend that was thinking shitty things or saying shitty things about themselves, how quick would you come in to correct them? It would be very quick. So can you do that for yourself? Can you be your best friend? I need you to be your best friend at all times. Please, sir, ma'am, can you do that? Okay, thank you. That is what I need you to do, because I know that our brain is trained. I mean, it's to like, so people can sell things, and like the diet industry could do its thing, that we learn to do the opposite and constantly attack and judge ourselves. But I am telling you, you will get so much farther if you can think loving thoughts about yourself, and you could be your best friend. If you could be your best friend, everything will start to get better. Why? Because then you don't have all this resistance in the way. What you resist persists, right? So it's kind of like, okay, your thoughts like are this like wall that's in the way of like you, like I'm talking about negative thoughts. It's like, oh, you're a piece of shit, whatever it is. But if we could release those, so we could just be our best friend, it makes things so much easier. Then there could be a flow. Like I think it's right there. Flow, that book. It's a good book. But everything you can be in a flow state when you release all those like negative things that are just trying to keep you in place. They're trying to keep you stagnant. They're trying to lower your vibration. They're trying to stop you from achieving your goals. Okay. So I want you to be so loving to yourself and watch everything kind of like miraculously fall into place. It will. Thank you for watching. Thank you for asking. And also DM me. I love going live and answering your questions. And sometimes I just batch them all up and go live and answer them, which is so fun for me. And you guys seem to get a lot out of it, which is makes me very happy. So let me know and we'll talk more about relationships. All of my stuff is about using psychology and neuroscience to be the highest and best version of yourself in every area of your life: health, wealth, relationships, career, spirituality, connection with the universe. I'm not really talking about religion, but just like energetically shifting to be the highest and best version of yourself. So follow me for that. And so you can learn more about that and the different techniques. I give a lot of different techniques, but that is what all of my work is about. That's what I'm committed to. That's what I love, showing up for you guys and teaching you these things and watching you guys grow and learn and telling me that like, I've been using this technique for a week or two and it's really helpful. I love that so much and I'm here for it. And that's why I do what I do. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. Again, you could always DM me. I respond to DMs. Let me know where you are in your journey, how I can be helpful. I do have 3 courses that you can take. One's on reprogramming your brain to get like your ideal body composition, have a better relationship with food, and just your body in general. And that's called Keto Zen. Then I have one specifically about imposter syndrome, and I created a unique system around completely getting rid of imposter syndrome, because I used to be hired by companies to help like these executives and CEOs get over their imposter syndrome, because they're these high level, high performing people that like thought they basically, imposter syndrome is a thing that it's like an anxiety disorder where the more success you have, the more you think you're a phony and that you're full of shit and people are going to find out that you're not good at what you do. And so like Meryl Streep has it. Meryl Streep thinks like she doesn't understand why she thinks she's a horrible actress and stuff. It's super fascinating. But so that's my other course. And then my last course is called Healing and Thriving After Toxic Relationships and Narcissistic Abuse. If you do download that course, let me know. I stay in very close contact with all of my course students and I love hearing from you. I will answer any question that you have. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to keep this conversation going. So drop your questions and comments in the comment section and let me know what you would like me to cover in upcoming videos. And if you're serious about breaking toxic relationship cycles and want to go even deeper with that, whether it's romantic relationships, family, friends, or at work, or all of the above, and you really want to feel like you again, and also the highest and best version of yourself, where you're not just surviving, you're thriving. My course on healing and thriving after narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships is where the real transformation happens. It's packed with neuroscience and psychology-based tools and strategies for you to quickly reprogram your brain and nervous system to thrive in every area of your life and to attract and maintain healthy relationships. And above all, I want you to know that you do not have to do this alone, my love. Whether you're watching my videos or taking my courses, I want you to know that you deserve to feel safe and free and have the best relationships where you can constantly be the highest and best version of yourself. So thank you for watching. And again, the link to the course is in the description and in my bio. I'm so honored to be part of your healing journey and thriving era. I'll see you in the course, and I love you all. Mwah.